believe we are live. So I'll say, indeed! And greetings unto you, beloved and holy friend. Thank you for joining me again. Another day, another moment for us to contemplate. Ask ourselves, what coping mechanisms have we developed in order to survive up to this moment? Which ones do we want to keep? Which ones do we melt? Not judging, not assuming, not expecting, but being present, being aware, being honest even with ourselves. I got mosquito bitten. Seems it really is summer in every way of the word. I had to remember I have the ability to sweat again today. Not exactly. Not exactly. I'm supposed to remember. Thank you, friends, for joining me. I'll be back in a second. Pepe! Pepe! She's been like brutalizing an ant. You know, that ant is so dead. Like he's like contorted into a little ball on the ground. But she keeps stepping on him. Shame. And then she does that. Maybe there's like a story in there somewhere as well. Killing something and then being upset that he doesn't move anymore. That's happening right now. You kill something and then you're like, come on, do the thing where you move. And it's just like, I'm so sorry, Puppy. That thing is so dead. It's so dead. It's completely dead. Look, it's dead. It's dead. Here he is. He's one of those ants that I don't know exactly what you call them. They have like a black head and then like a little red body and then a white speckled back body. But they get big. They get like this big if you give them chance to grow. This one, alas, had no such luck. Huh, Peppy? Murderer. I'm back in a second again. Mama. Ok, cosa que sei? Io non lo anche sto pizzi. Ok, go. Wouldn't it be nice if we were older and knew the lyrics to this funky song? Hello. There we go. Thank you for being here with me. Lane the main, Brother Bear. Tell us, dude. How's the how's the college lifestyle, man? You know, I won't get to experience it, so I'll have to live vicariously through you, dude. You have to tell me. You have to be like, it sucks so much ass, Mel. You don't know how good you have it. Or opposite. It's so great, Mel. You don't know how much your life has in comparison. Either way, I'm here for it. How's it going? It's going well. Thank you for asking, dear Shan, as well. I've never seen an ant like that. They get big. You should go and, I don't know if you can Google, but uh, ant with black head, red body, white speckled back. You, that's how I would have Googled. See if I could find a photo. Scouring the internet a little bit. Actually, I need to get a pen as well. I got rolling papers again. I got rolling papers again. So it is time. It is time. Let me read something worth saying before I get a little bit distracted for a moment or two. What? This technically was the first one I read, but this one I feel is the one that needs to be read. Okay, so what you are in your essential being is God itself, Himself, herself. When everything else melts away, body, mind, expectation, interpretation, wants, needs, desires, there just is you and your essential being. But this one I feel is more related to today's topic, this topic of old patterns, and was inspired by Joy Vives. So, if God, who becomes you, held the thought, I certainly can't separate from myself, that would be a limitation or a separation in so many words. Again, if God, who becomes you, held the thought, I certainly can't separate myself from myself, that would be a limitation. So today's stream topic is kind of in that way a separation that we're trying to induce within self, right? We're talking about specifically coping mechanisms or old patterns of doing, like maybe you grew up in a household where you weren't allowed to speak, in so many words. So one of your coping mechanisms was to spend time by yourself or to not say things, you know? And during that time of your life, when you found yourself in that world where not speaking was what was expected of you, if you will, you could have survived by not speaking during that time of your life, right? But then we grow up, we we change, our environments change, the people we spend time with change, but sometimes we hold on to the old pattern of not speaking in this rough example, right? We hold on to the pattern of believing we are unworthy of being heard. And I feel like that's what I want to touch on today. Like really this recognition that we have gotten used to doing things in a certain way so that we can continue doing things in a certain way. And to just look at these things that we've been doing. I feel one of my coping mechanisms especially has been separation. Touching on the stream topic, or the thing we're saying rather, a separation, where as soon as I feel a sense of tension, a sense of worry, a sense of discomfort, I'm I'm more willing to spend time alone than I am to spend time with other people, friends or family members, because the separation makes it easier. And I realized that that is not a coping mechanism that serves me. It's not really a coping mechanism that serves any of us. And I'm saying it from a perspective of it was a coping mechanism, and I still notice it in my behavior sometimes. But I feel slowly but surely, especially with these streams, we have melted that separation away. Lolo is here too. I see you, dear friend. It's not great, but it's not terrible. Worst part will always be the money. Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, you're just a broke student for the for the next couple of years now. I'm doing good, battling a headache that seems to keep coming and going. But besides that, I'm good. Thank you for asking. How are you? Thank you for telling us, Shan. I'm alright, Shan. I have some rehearsals tonight. The first of many this week. The first of many this week. How many is many? How many do you have to do in a week? Sorry, I think I've been missing your comments, friend. Staffel, it's nice to have you here again, friend. You've been missed. Savina, yadi to you. Thank you for giving me a helpful award. So much love to you too. Lolo again, love to you. I have a show next weekend. Something Rotten. I'm guessing the show is called Something Rotten. Cartoons, beloved friend, currently hung over at IHOP. I hope you're feeling melted today. That feels like such an archetype, being hung over at IHOP. Is it, Connor? I don't know why, but that feels like yes. I should be like, yes, hung over at IHOP, the usual. Even though we don't have IHOPs, and I have never been hung over. Living your best life, it sounds. It does, doesn't it? But you're having an IHOPs tune. Like, is it a waffle place? I think so, right? Savina, love to you here too. I feel that melt. It typically happens when friends or people I'm interested in. If there is a bad experience with someone, I typically separate myself and often not talk to those people for a while. There you go, Lane. You know exactly what I'm talking about, brother bear. Yeah, that. Hey, jumping jacks. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for giving me a wholesome award. It's nice to have you here, friend. How are you doing? How are you doing, Twaffle? How you doing, Servina? Tell us. Are you holding on to an old coping mechanism? Are you holding the thought as God? Surely I can't separate myself from myself. In so doing, limiting yourself. Thank you for the lane. I feel, the fact that we're aware of that already allows us at least the ability to reconnect when we need to or when we want to. Was drinking for about 15 hours. Oh goodness. That's one of the things I never understood about people that drink, that they could just keep going. I hold whiners, call it bogarting. Whiners call it bogarting. I hold. Whiners call it bogarting. I'm confused. Melt calls it stupid. Am I stupid? Why do I not understand your word, Twaffle? I hold. Whiners call it bogarting. I'm guessing bogarting as meaning, right? But I do not know what the meaning of the word bogarting is. Bogarting. To bogart. What? Maybe you're talking about the separation, the willingness to separate from people that you feel maybe uncomfortable with. Your hair is fleeked this morning, Mel. Thank you. It grows this way out of my head. I make it wet, and then I get it out of my face, and then it does this. I cannot, I cannot take any pride, really, really. Something that's been kind of like on my mind, weirdly enough, Baffle, is the fact that my hair doesn't grow, right? Surely it grows, but it doesn't get longer. Like, and I like out of interest went back to like look at the difference between day four melt and today's melt, and day four's melt hair is exactly the same length, like exactly, like scarily exactly the same length. My face is significantly fatter, but same length, dude. My hair is in 2 gallon Ziplocs right now, in two 1 gallon Ziplocs. That's a lot of hair, Thwaffle. Did you cut all of it off? Are you donating it? I'm guessing so. Tell us more. There's an old song where the chorus goes, "Don't bogart that joint, my friend. Pass it over to me." So bogart is like keeping to yourself. I'm guessing, right? Now, my mind is starting to attach to fractal. So what's the opposite? If the coping mechanism that I relate to slash go to is separation, right? Removing myself from a situation instead of being with the situation in a hopes that the situation will be better, to believe that the situation could get better with my absence in the situation, right? And it could. It actually could in certain circumstances, but to be aware. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. To be aware. Yeah. That's definitely it. Hot diggity damn. And now we're gonna add some Nordic runes. I haven't done this in a while. We're gonna go straight Degas. Isa is calling to me too. Isa! Mmm. Pietro, the magic one. And Christian Skabel. Degas, Isa, Piorth. I think it's called Piorth. Gable. Yeah. So, Degas, it means enlightenment. Isa, I believe, means presence. Piorth means magic. Gebu means gift. The enlightenment of presence is the magical gift. Yeah. Yeah. The enlightenment of presence, the magical gift. Ooh, runes, yay, right? So cool about it. Thank you for joining me. I'm collecting it for a wig. It's falling out because radiation. So I cut off what was still there. Thwaffle, are you battling cancer right now? I mean, the fact that you're going through radiation, in so many words probably gave it away. I'm grateful to have you here with us, Thwaffle. I'm sure that you will beat this. Not only do I know you'll beat this because of the divinity of your soul, of your beingness, but I also know you will beat this because of the age we're in right now. The age of abundance, the age of health, the age of medicine. And we're heading towards the age of biological medicine as well, where we were basically running analog for the longest time. As in, you would take a bunch of molecules and then you would put them into the system and then you would like see what happens. Very analog like. And we're going towards a digital approach to medicine where we figured out how to fold proteins ourselves, with the help of our little AI friends. So I love you, Waffle Maker. I love you so much. Yes, chemotherapy knocked out the one of the lung, the lymph node, and the liver, but they haven't been watching or scanning my head. And yet here you are, Thwaffle. Here you are right now. The fact that you are actually fighting cancer right now, and yet present, yet loving, gentle with yourself and with others. Thank you. Thank you for being so strong, friend. Thank you for being so beautiful. Thank you for humbling me. I love you. You'll get better. I believe this. Several seasons ago, one a day, much like today, a newborn human took his first breath of atmosphere. The old man, stuck in his young body, was able to return to consciousness while surrounded by his loved ones. A day of birth and rebirth. I don't know if you've seen it, but I would love for you to see it. Jumpin' Jack. There's a video called Last Day on Earth. And it's this old man who goes walking in the forest. And then he hears construction noises. And he sees people basically butchering the forest he was just walking in. And you can see the devastation in his eyes, with this reality that he's facing, seeing people decimating the world that he's not long for. And then you see him bending down, planting a seed in the ground. Hypercuts to black screen as he closes the little seed. And then it shows the seed bursting out of the ground and the man releasing his breath. Just like freaking goosebumps, right? And like that just, it turns so many nodes in my brain. One node is this reality, this understanding that as a dying man, on your last day on earth, you plant a seed. You plant a seed so that there can be life again. And then you die as that seed germinates. In a way, as you mentioned, being birthed, being rebirthed. Thank you. Thank you, Jumpin' Jack. There is no going away, Waffle Maker. You can only be here. Be here. Be here on the one side, and then I'll write Thwaffle. Thwaffle on the other side. Be here, Thwaffle. Be here. We love you. Stay with us. I'm gonna drag your screen. Hello, you beautiful red fractals. Extremely hungover. Daily reminder to drink more water. Please do. Please do drink more water. An old pattern of mine at home. Move into another room to try and calm myself down. A pattern created when I'd fight with siblings. And then we're told to go to separate rooms. Same, Lola. Exactly the same, friend. Like it's a pattern probably in a lot of us. you know, and it's a pattern in humanity as a collective. This willingness to separate, this willingness to be like, I am this and you are that, you know. I am right and you are wrong. I am angry and you are happy. Manana mana, manana mana. Man, the wind is definitely not gonna make it easy for me to roll this joint. But that's why we have scarves and things, right? Hook this into my toes. Yeah, yeah, I've got multiple limbs that I can control at the same time. I still do want 4 arms total, not extra. Me and my sibling eventually are going to work on cyber arms that you strap to your back like a backpack, and then it interfaces with probably just your brain, you know? It's gonna be difficult to control them with your arms. I mean, you can, like, something that you could do is just use them as holders, you know? You can have like 2 hands holding something, and then you can lock that held state, and then you can work with the rest of your limbs. Squibobdy squibboopty zoop zoop. I do agree. I do agree, actually, jumping. Squibobty zoop zoop. Boopty scoop. I think we're gonna win. I haven't done this in months at this point. But it's like riding a bike, it seems. One does not forget to roll a joint, or how to roll a joint. Ski bam. Ski boom. Twaffle maker, be here, so that you may receive the enlightenment of the now as a magical gift. Always within this awareness. Yow! Wow! Smoking magic. Dr. Octopus styly? Yes, exactly. But the thing is with Dr. Octopus, you know, he understood what I was trying to, you know, explain with the whole brain computer interfacing thing as well. But he coded an artificial intelligence into his arms as well so that they can kind of like understand his intentions and know what he wants them to do, doing so independently of themselves, yet being subservient to Dr. Octopus. And then his bridge where the AI connects to the arms, you know, got broken and could connect to his brain. So it took over his brain, you know? That's a little bit hecked, I believe. Birthday joined, heck yeah. It's your birthday today, Jumpin' Jack? Happy birthday, dear friend. Is that Vidura Onyx? Hello, Melt, he says. Good to see you. Good to see you, friend. It's been X amount of months. You've been missed. And here we are now. Tell me, dear friend, what coping mechanism have you been relying on as of late? Hmm. One of my coping mechanisms I just noticed is a want to be strong, you know, which is also kind of a joke because within the grand scheme of the universe, no matter how strong you get, you'll still be infinitely weak. So it's a cool thing to be aware of. How about you, Onyx? How's life been treating you? How have you been treating you? Are you drinking enough water? Are you getting enough sleep? I hope so. Jumpin' Jack, do tell me, is it your birthday? And how old are you if it is your birthday? I've never asked your age actually. Jumpin' Jack feels like he's in his 20s though. At least that's the way I interpret it. I got some eggs, bacon, and hash browns. Damn. That sounds like some good hangover food, dude. Gonna hit home with this topic. Hey, friends. I've got my hands a little bit busy again. Lurky turkey I be, but loving using my silence. Love to you too. Thank you, Jovan, for sharing your presence. Yes, from 7 a.m. to 2 a.m. You're stronger than I am, Connor. Like I can't do anything like that. Like I I tap out even with psychedelics. Captain Schmecks. No you, Sofa Sofa. No you, friend. Thank you for joining me. It's nice to have you here. How are you doing? How's life treating you? How are you holding on to any coping mechanism? Do let me know. Is there something that you've been perpetuating in your life? Something that used to serve you, right? And I feel like this is the thing that makes it really hard. This topic really tangible is that the things we used to do, the coping mechanisms, the self-soothing, in the words of Joy Vive, was necessary. That if we didn't soothe ourselves, we would be unsoothed. But to realize that we have now transcended that need to be soothed, that awareness slash unawareness, to the point where we are right now, aware of our previous awarenesses, that in a way you are a hyperdimensional slash larger dimensional version of yourself, where every single other version of yourself is still in you, and yet you are bigger than it, right? Russian dolls all the way down of previous versions of yourself. It is, I'm older than a housefly, but younger than trees, timeless and ageless are we who drift. Oh, yes. And that's the first thing that I thought about as well when I asked you your age, is the fact that we are actually ageless. That there is no age to assign ourselves. And then as soon as you do, you're kind of lying to yourself as well. From the perspective of being like, oh yeah, I'm a 94-year-old entity. I have a friend who specifically identifies as 94 years old, specifically 94. And I was like, huh, that's interesting. And they asked me, how old do I think I am? And my answer to them was, I think I'm 13.8 billion years old. Because what I am right now, in totality, is 13.8 billion years old, right? Roughly. But then again, the thing you actually are is beyond that. It's outside of time. So how do you age something? How do you assign age to something which literally does not conform to time? Look at this. Can you see this, dude? It can. Just like, floating in the air. Joy. Is Joy here? Where's Joy Vive? There she is. So much love to you. It's nice to have you here, dear friend. Thank you for today's topic. Recent experiences have caused me to try and separate from people, but I'm actively trying to break that habit. Please do, beloved Lane. I mean, the fact that you're aware of it, bears again, it's already a step in the right direction. I feel like that's the reason we're talking about today's topic, is just to bring that into each other's awareness. The fact that we do sometimes hold on to old coping mechanisms, and then if we never get to the point of addressing or even acknowledging the fact, we never get to change. Good question. Sitting meditation helps me at times. I haven't been too bad. Cooking helps too. If you cook, Vidura, do you cook for yourself or for other people? I'm curious to see how that fractal gonna work out. I love your thermos. Thank you. I like the color of it. Atlas wear. Technically, you can write aware. Alas. No, again, can't say alas. Last aware. Yes, you can still get last aware out of this as well. It's also blue. Ermius blur being held in something purple. I love you. Thank you. Thoughtful. I'm happy you like it. It's better than using plastic, right? And ever since, like, we had the bottle in our house and it was going unused, and I kind of asked if I could use it. And since they said yes, I haven't stopped. Thank you for noticing, friend. I'm happy you like it as well. I have been hydrating extremely well. Good cartoons. That's what we need. Do you meditate often, Melt? And if so, how do you get into that melty space? I meditate daily, or at least I try to. I have like a little bit of a ritual where I make myself a coffee, I sit down, no distractions, I have my coffee, finish the coffee, and then I just sit. noticing the coffee starting to work, noticing the want to do things, and then just sitting with it. Kind of like noting. Noting is I think the term they use where as things come up to you, you acknowledge them. It's like clouds, like things drifting in the water as you're sitting next to the river. You're like, oh, okay, oh, this thing too, okay, cool. And the longer you do that, it's almost like you have a certain momentum in your mental space, like a ka-chunk, a ka-chunk, a ka-chunk. And it's like if you don't actually sit down and spend some time with yourself, that chunka chunka is still going on in the background, but you're not making any conclusions. You're not noting the information that's there for you to perceive. And then it becomes this escapism type of mentality, coming back to what we were talking about yesterday, about distracting ourselves from these feelings. So sitting down shouldn't be a thing, right? Like you shouldn't be meditating with this intention to become enlightened or meditating with this intention to have a ethereal experience. Meditate to spend time with yourself. Like think about it really in that way. Like I'm going to sit down and spend some time with me. Spend some time with me. Yes, the meditation for me. Love you. Thank you, Onyx. I like that. Happy birthday, old fart. You a true G. Oh, yes, he is. Thank you. Goo for sending love too. Thank you for sending love to the Reddit friends as well. So yeah, Connor, you just sit with yourself. You make it a date. You make it a date where you acknowledge that within this infinite fractal, the time that you'll be alive in, the thing that you are, experiencing this version of yourself, the ultimate thing you could be doing is getting to know you, getting to know who you are, right? And not from this perspective of believing knowing who you are is going to help you, believing, knowing who you are is going to make life better, but it is always going to inform your decisions. And the better decisions you make, the better life gets. I do half a mile on my morning walk as walking meditation. Fantastic. I love walking meditation. I think walking meditation might be my favorite. The only thing that bothers me from, well, not even bothers me, but is a caveat with walking meditation is the blazing sun here in South Africa. If it finds you alone, it murders you. Thank you, Gab. I genuinely appreciate it. I'm an old fart sometimes, and yet here now, right? Old fart, young lad, all of them here now. Love you, Jumpin. Thank you for spending some of your birthday with us. It means the world. The last rune I pulled from my deck was Hagalaz, the rune of Hela, or Hela, typically tied to the creation that is born from destruction. Melt, dude. Let's melt it, bruh. Tune's meditation has been a journey for me. You just being small, focus on the breath, and only that. As you go deeper into the meditation journey, eventually you will find your melty space. Exactly. But you have to do it, right? You have to show up for yourself in that way. You can't you can't think about it. You can't wish for it. Can't expect it. It's you. It's literally you. I do cook for other people. My work involves cooking for people. Fantastic. Hear that. You literally, quite literally, get to make a good experience for other people. My fart smells old sometimes, but I still got a lot of young ones in me yet. Young farts and old farts. Weirdly enough, I feel the young farts, are stronger in so many words. Pepe. What's up, Pepe? You're so right. We're all conditioned to detach from any negative feelings instead of noticing them or talking about them collectively. Yeah? Distracting, right? Like we live in a distraction culture. Where's your peppers? Where's your peppers? It's so hot. There's sweat everywhere. To awareness. Thank you, friends. You, I forgot how joints taste. That's nice. That's real nice. Mm. Instead of separating, to be aware. It's not always that easy, huh? Especially not in this world. the distraction culture. I wrote a poem for my flower yesterday. I don't know if I can remember it even. Distractions, distractions. It's so hard to get traction on personal projects and hobbies to boot. How clever the internet is to give you a forever sleep kiss. So wake up, don't be distracted now. We'll all make it in love, this is my solemn vow. Something, something, your tiny fraction. All it requires is your loving action. Distractions. What are we like? The thing is, and this is now me getting a little bit more into the etheric side of it. Within distraction, there is this question within me, what is it I'm being distracted from? And yesterday I was touching on it from this experience of feeling how I was faced with this reality of being distracted from feeling my feelings, and I saw that as less than ideal, to say it in so many words. And now, for some reason, embracing the awareness, and especially talking about coping mechanisms in a way where we had to do something to survive. Maybe something is distracting us so that it can survive. And that thing that could be distracting us might be the old side of our humanity, right? The side of us that believes itself to be separate. Esrog, 11:12 to 11:29. Good afternoon to you. Thank you. Or good morning to you. Thank you for joining me, friend, in the now. It's nice to have you here. Thank you for the love on B. I appreciate it so much. I appreciate you being here. I was thinking about you and Uncle Becky today. I was just I was just thinking about what it's gonna be like when I'm on the hill doing these streams, done by the morning hours, and then grafting through the day, building on the haywire hill for the future generations, for the future, just for the future, for the people that will be there, making something, making something. And B, you and Uncle Becky inspire me so much. Thank you. Do you meditate before sleep? I'm struggling with waking up on time on work days. I don't necessarily meditate before sleep, but I do exercise before I sleep, Vidura, which might be, a recommendation. It has been proven that you get better sleep quality if you exercise before you sleep. Might be something to consider. You don't even have to do much, like 10 minutes of high intensity training would be great. You'll want to sleep. You'll just want to get dropped. Getting ready for Miles' birthday party, but I'm listening in. Oh, Auntie, you flatter all of us with your presence. Thank you so much. Who is Miles gonna have over? A bunch of friends? It's gonna be a bunch of family members? A mix of both? Do let us know, Aunt V. I believe you saw the love that we sent to him yesterday. Thank you for joining us today again. I like the vibe today. It is pretty very calm, right, Gob? No expectation. No coping mechanisms coming through. No running away, no separating. Just in the flow. Things have been less than ideal since the start of this journey. And yet I feel less need to complain than ever. Oh yeah, yeah, get melted. Get melted complaining. Get melted worry. Get melted a belief of separation. Get melted doubt. Tomorrow we're talking about the fact that doubt isn't actually bad. That what's really bad is a fear of change. It's okay to doubt. Doubt all you want. But don't be scared of change. We're gonna talk about that tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it. 8-bit! Had to quit for a job and I'm missing that easy sleep. Reading that helped But God, I'm missing it. I'm missing you. It's nice to have you here, 8-Bit. Thank you for joining us. How are you? How are you doing? What have you been doing to cope? Do let us know. Ski bob what ski wibbit ski squeebibdi squababdi zoop zip zoop zoop zip zoop zoop zip zoop. You see, we have words in Afrikaans that have a repeating pattern like that. Like when I try to make a negative sentence, for example, you know, like if I had to talk about this thing in the context of not playing it, I would be like, ek speel nie hierdie instrument nie. Zoop zoop. So my mind is like, there's a sentence there. It means something. It has to. It's a negative or a positive or a confirmation or something. Thank you, Jumpin' Jack, for turning nodes on my brain, dude. You're so right. Oh, thank you again, Lolo, for resonating, dear friend. Y'all are delightful friends to see every day. Isn't it beautiful, Gov? It's like we're collectively meeting each other, giving each other's high fives, hugs, being like, hey, you rock, I see you. And then we go into our worlds again, right? With that in mind, with that energy having been given by us to us. And then we get to give that to others, right? And then that could be very draining sometimes. Where you're like, ugh, there's so much energy being given to others. And then we come back here and then we fill our cups. We bring our torches together. We burn even brighter. We melt even more, if you will, right? And then we go back into the world, melting into the world, into every single crevice, touching lives, touching animals, touching plants, all in love, making things better instead of worse. You know, like it's bad enough as it is. We might as well make it better. Not from the perspective of believing it's broken or even believing that it's bad, but just from the perspective of wanting it to be the best, right? Like it's not a separation instead of a embracing of you and of the life you could live, of the happiness you could have. And I feel weirdly enough, it could be detrimental to us to feel that way as well sometimes, you know? As I was talking about it, in my mind came up this relationship issue that I sometimes have with my dad, where it feels like there could be, is this potential for a significantly more beautiful relationship. And because it's not that, I want it to be that, I expect it to be that, I'm attached to it being that, I suffer. And then I suffer, and then I talk about the suffering, kind of like bring to our awareness very how this is how to suffer. And then I always like school myself, right? And I'm like, oh, dude, how about you actually listen to the words you're saying? And then I go through this pattern of trying to be a little bit more accepting, less expectations for the relationship, and then it goes better, and then because it goes better, this part of myself comes up, this coping mechanism to want things to be even better, even more, more. And then I fall back into the loop. It's all such a balance. It's all just a dance, the infinity. And to be a part of that journey with one another instead of just to believe that you're the only one going through it, feeling like you're floating through space completely alone, right? Mm. Coping has been tough, so tough, but I'm keeping my eye on the prize so I can teach young minds music. The goal is worth it. 8-Bit. I had to put my joint down for that one. Deep, 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 deep blessings to you, friend, on that journey. Absolutely, right? Coming from a place of that much love, I can't see you ever fail. Keep showing up for that. Keep showing up for that. Keep showing up for that, friend, forever, forever and forever and forever, and forever, forever, and then it will happen. It cannot not. Try some visualizing. See yourself with weed. See yourself getting high slash stoned. Focus well enough, and you'll start believing you actually smoke. So weirdly enough, Waffle, I had an experience like that. So this is a little bit one of those things where it sounds crazy, right? So I'm saying that as a caveat to the next things I'm going to say. Assume I'm crazy or assume I was dreaming, right? That also helps. People have a little bit more leeway. Oh, you're a dream. Okay. Anything can happen, right? But then, oh yeah, reality. No. No, reality only a few things can happen. Because reality isn't infinite, is it? Isn't it? Anyway, so basically, with my last Lions experience, I had this moment, like multiple moments even, where I was listening to a podcast by John Vervaeke, and Lex, and like it was like a 3.5 hour podcast, and as I was listening to it, multiple times over, this want arose in me to smoke marijuana. And then I would look at my weed and I would go through the whole process of smoking the weed, right? Like I would not actually going through the process, but imagining, oh yeah, I pick up the bong and then I light it and then I inhale the smoke and I can see this little burning ember as a little fractal of the infinity right in front of me. And then I inhale the smoke and then I blow the smoke out and I see it filling the room. And then I ease into the space. I focus on my breathing for a little bit. And then I focus on my breathing for a little bit. And then before I know it, I am very blazed with my bong still in front of me, not smoked. And it happened over and over and over and over again where I had this compulsion to smoke some weed probably like 7 times during the podcast, but I didn't smoke once. And I was like, what the hell is this even happening? But I feel you're on point. I feel you're on point with that, friend. That visualization is powerful. All the funny noises that we create. Squeeb up, squeeb boop. The thing to me, when I make sounds like that, I'm fully aware that instead of using the fractal for word, the fractal for chair, the fractal for cell phone, right? I use this little, and then you understand what I mean. Now, instead of using these fractals that we are familiar with, as soon as I start, what does that do, right? Am I just pulling from like my brain? What is that? Like, am I accessing information in a way that, like, for instance, if you dream something, or if you listen to a story, or if you solve a problem for the first time, like it unlocks something in you. And then the sound making thing kind of fascinates me because, one, within infinity, eventually, there will be an alien species making exactly those sounds with intention, and it means something. The whole joke of, if you had an infinite amount of monkeys on an infinite amount of typewriters pressing completely random letters, they would, within infinity, write every single book that we have up until this moment, and then into infinity as well, right? Like, that's the contravity of infinity. So, getting back to this sound making, within infinity, there will be an alien species that uses those exact sounds to mean something, to actually mean something. And in us making those sounds, does it mean less because we don't understand it? Something I've been curious about. I like to sing with that in mind. Right? Just sounds, especially with Cytrons. You can get into a rhythm. And it feels like I'm singing something, but I don't understand what it is. Oh yeah, that makes me miss it. But yeah, trying to get into meditation in the hopes to reach a different kind of high. I'm so sorry to tell you, friend. But it's your experience. So I don't have to say anything to you. Even though I feel very compelled to. That might be my coping mechanism. At least for this moment, I'm not going to. Just to show myself I can, right? I might not be as strong later, but right now, I'll be so freaking strong. I never feel alone when I come here and I commune with you all, art and beautiful creatures. I like this coffee shop. And we like you, jump in. That's the beauty of it as well, right? Like, it is one thing if you felt good in a space, but we feel good for having you in this space. So thank you for spending some time with us, Meltonians. For our space we share today, I am burning these incenses: black campa, jasmine, cedar, an apple. I see a hammerhead shark staring back at me, flying over me. For some reason, his eyes was on his hammerhead, and I don't know if it works that way because it was below, on the bottom of the hammerhead. If that means something to you, Level Maker, maybe go and search. What does the spirit animal hammerhead say? See what the infinity gives you. I don't know either. I'm curious though. I get new incense in the mail today. Like, I'm guessing you're like subscribed to some sort of package deal where they send you a bunch of different flavors or scents or uh, combinations, right? Like, and they probably cycle that so you keep getting new stuff. At least, like, I've been fascinated by the fact that you always tell us that you're lighting these incenses and there's always like different types. I have been burning the same smelling incense. Like, I bought a box of 6 of them for like months, and I love the smell. I think it's white sage, but it's cool to me that you get to have the variation. Congrats, that's great. Thank you for that encouragement. He has arrived, Brother Griffin, Brother Joel, the Fashkalian himself. Thank you for joining us. It's nice to have you. That reminds me of the whole how many balls are in this jar and how averaging answers from a bunch of people brings out the actual answer. Ah, it's so cool. No explaining. Well, know what I'm talking about? I do, friend. That is the trip about infinity, and that as a idea. So what our friend was saying, that if you have a jar filled with balls and you have 10 friends guessing how many balls are in that jar. And then you add their guesses together and you divide by 10. You'll get closer to the actual number than they would have gotten as individuals. And then if it's 100 and you do the same, divide by 100, closer still. 1,000, closer still. Million, closer still. Getting closer and closer to the singularity. And we're that. Every single one of us is a node to that same consciousness. That's why it's so important that you guess, right? You guess in a way where you show up. Like, oh, I'm gonna show up for love. I guess it could lead to love or whatever. And then you keep doing that. And then you keep doing that. And then the entire world changes as a result of you showing up for love, for you in your life, for your family, for your loved ones, for your friends, even if it's just for you. That's okay. That's completely okay because that's how we change the world. It's that guessing, right? That if you get closer to the right guess, love is true, right? For me, that's the guess. It's like what is true in this world. All of us are guessing because none of us can actually know. Truth is something so ethereal, but love is something so ethereal as well, where it's so hard to define, and truth is so hard to define, and then to make a statement, right? Something like love is true. I don't know, but that is the closest to a guess that I've ever been able to get. And the fact that all of us as friends are guessing the same thing and connecting on that, do you know what you're doing? You're changing the world. You, yes, burning the incense for us as a group. So I am thought forming Meltonia into existence, like we are an entity or a being. Yeah, literally, literally. And people are scared of it. They call it names. They don't realize that that is what we are. They don't realize that that is what everything is, right? Ants, ant hill, taking care of the matriarchal energy. Bees, beehive, taking care of the matriarchal energy, right? Mama Gaia, the birther, and we are exactly the same thing. We are more intelligent, surely. We can communicate in very complex ways. We can think of and explore ideas so amazing that it's life changing. And yet we are in a way toiling away like bees. And we've been following a patriarch, right? This is what you're gonna do. You're gonna do this. This. Or this is what you can do. This little list of things, right? If you don't do something in this list, you're not actually doing anything, you know? You're wasting time. You're wasting air. People getting told that that they're not worth the breath that they're breathing, for example. With the matriarchal energy supports all, right? A bird taking care of itself, eating bugs, pooping on the floor, that poop getting eaten by the trees. There's no judgment. There's no expectation other than the participation of you as a living being in life. And a human has this energy of creation that if you don't access that energy of creation, and that's what I mean when I say show up for love, that what you love, again, I don't know anything. I can't possibly. But if I know if we show up and I say I don't know anything from this perspective of you have a cumulatively explosive existence, a fractal of your own, right? Divinely unique to you, your upbringing, your parents, your siblings or lack thereof, your friends or lack thereof, your schooling or lack thereof, fractal, 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 fractal. And we can literally in this moment keep going into the complexity of just you, that we would literally do so for an infinite amount of time. We could never stop. And to recognize that if you within that fractal show up for what love is to you, all of these coping mechanisms that you had to form to take care of your soul will melt away, because you will in doing so take care of the only thing that needs to be taken care of, showing up for love. It's it's such a trip. It actually melts my brain, to the point where I feel more stupid now than I've ever felt in my life. I was talking to my mom about this today. When I was younger, like, I could see where the future was going, at least in some capacity, with with a certainty. Maybe I'm growing up out of naivete. Maybe that's what it is. But at this point, things are changing so rapidly that I don't have the ability to anymore. So, within that infinite complexity, to make it as simple as love has been life saving. And in doing so, we found one another. And you have been life saving in that way too. Thank you, dear friends. Above I see a hand stitched quilt, and I can feel the coolness of the beach sand when you dig your feet below the surface. You emit the comfort and peace that can be felt even here. The longer I had my eyes closed, the deeper I sank into the earth. And I was just watching these layers cutting deeper and deeper into the core. All of us connected to Mama Gaia right now. Collectiveness is the way. It really is. It's what we're already doing. Like, if it wasn't for our collectiveness, none of us would have food right now. Y'all are extra mushy today. I love it. Feeling good, dude. We were doing some magic with this joint, bro. And it's like, oh yeah. Getting absolutely magic. A wild gob appears. Need a little mushiness from time to time. We do, right? Lolo, I think I'm missing a few here on this one. I'm sorry. I love what wrote what you wrote for yesterday's flower melt. I literally gasped when I saw the flower. I'm happy that you appreciate it as well. I was also very happy with how it came out. Like, it was one of those flowers where as soon as I made it, I knew that I wasn't going to need to make more, because this was the one. I want to share a joint with all of you. I am sharing a joint with God right now. It's not this right now. It's not this right where, but it is this right now. I see him standing in front of me, hands in front of himself, arm hooked onto other arm, gleefully smiling as we're having chats back and forth. It already is, Brother Gab. It already is. Manifesting, talking about our manifestations as if they are, not as if they could be, not as if they might be, but believing, knowing that it already is. Yow! I shared like 20 with Toasty and Uncle Becky. I suppose that's a good start. That's more than most can say. Got the goop. I'm so happy that you got to have that at the bay. We will have some more. Cheers to smile when we are reminded we're one being and to share love with others to remind them of the same. Lolo, and that's the beauty of it. You know, we're not gonna have to fight. We're not gonna have to riot. We're not gonna have to protest. We're just going to love. From this place, from this moment, you don't even have to go anywhere. You don't even have to go anywhere. Love the people, love the dog, love the tree, love the little flower, everything. And in doing so, our ripple effects will remind everyone what is. You're doing amazing, Melty. I love you, Gab. Thank you. Hello from my COVID recovery. Shisha! Natalie, stronger than ever. New antibodies fighting the COVID molecules or virus bodies. Is it virus? To me, they're molecules, right? Little ball with like little spike proteins. Yeah, basically molecules. Dust particles. Yet stronger. Thank you, Natalie, for joining us again. It's nice to have you here. I can't wait for a Gabi Doobie. Ooh, if I let him roll any, you know, Gab, you're gonna have to fight me, dude, for rolling rights. I'm happy you're recording, Fred. Thank you. Recovering, I'm guessing you, man. Thank you. There we go. Love to you. God, Joy, I appreciate you saying that love back. Healing thoughts to you, Natalie. So much love. Thank you, friends. Everyone, enjoy your neck big sniff of plant for me. I am taking this loss of senses as a moment to reflect on the gratitude I have for the little things in nature. Just listening to the birds. I don't think there's ever a moment of silence on the farm. The birds are always just having a riot. It's so beautiful. Second night in clinic, and the women in the rec room said out loud, "We are all, we are all of us connected. It's all connected. Everything is connected." She wasn't even loud, but the whole world hushed and listened to her. All right, it was healing. Ripples, ripples. Every single one of us putting out ripples, right? She wasn't fighting. She wasn't protesting. She wasn't rioting. Just in a gentle, quiet place. We are all connected. It's all connected. Everything is connected. All right? And to me, the most beautiful example of that is one, you're literally being held down by gravity right now. Like you are so connected by this thing. It has so much mass that you are literally connected to it magnetically. Boink. Right? And then if you had to be taken out from that magnetic field, eventually you would break the atmosphere. And here you are in space, and here's Earth. How long do you continue to be? Right? You'll still be, conceptually, in space, floating throughout the infinity. But you won't be in the state that you're in right now, conscious, right? Conscious of this human experience, experiencing this filter. So this filter comes with the caveat of being very much attached, connected to Earth. And we're all that. And not only are we connected to the Earth in that fundamental way, but as a result, we're connected to one another in that fundamental way. Twelfold, thank you so much for sharing that. Spoken word is so powerful. Magic, actual magic. He's not wild, he's an actor and also a stunt person. Suddenly, Gob does, triple backflips while he's shirtless with his wide brim cowboy hat oiled up off of his tractor. God, I'll never forget, dude. Send me nugget energy for today. Mm, actually, nugget energy. It's like a black pill, and then it has like these waves, aura waves, right? Colors coming out of it, sending you nugget energy jumping. He doesn't act for money. He does it for the sake of the craft. Yes, just walks up to a group of people, starts viscerally acting. To be or not to be? That is the question. Are you being right now? Why being instead of non being? Why non being if not being? How being to being the non being? Being non being is being being. people, people just start tripping out, falling on the ground. And Gav is like, scene! Oh, and they stand up. That was amazing. Yeah, that's an acrimony. My neighbor's dog has been walking with me in the mornings. He's a massive black lab who smells strongly of Bounce dryer sheets. I don't know what Bounce dryer sheets smell like, but I'm guessing it's not bad. A dog that smells not bad is a dog that smells good. She was certainly correct, and everyone could feel it or couldn't touch it, but inspired desire to at the very least. So I believe 8-bit, and this is again a little bit more of my hippie woo woo stuffs, but I believe we output energy, right? You have a heart that has literally been the longest out of anything of you, right? And as soon as it starts doing that, it has electrons flowing through it. And when electrons flow through anything that allows is a conduit to that electricity, it produces magnetic waves, right? Electricity doesn't flow like molecules running through a tube. Electricity flows when a magnetic wave, a field, becomes generated around that conduit. And then that field pulls these electrons through itself. So you're actively doing that, not only with your heart, but also with your brain. Magnetic waves coming out of you right now. So when someone tunes into that connected energy, they output that energy to the point where people cannot ignore it. That you are so tuned into that connectedness that when that connectedness comes out in someone, you instinctively tune into it. And we're all doing that. You're doing that right now. And I believe you are doing it in a way where it's invisible and it's also wider than you actually realize. I think of it expanding all the way to, Jupiter, at least this version of myself. And then it gets more and more and more and more concentrated the closer and closer it gets to your initial fields, right? Because everything is cumulatively explosive. Everything influences everything. You were connected to the everything. It's a trip. It's an absolute trip. We don't believe we are as powerful as we actually are. I believe, right? And I feel that is going to be a part of the age we're going into right now, is we're actually going to start realizing how capable human beings are when we're not fearful, when we don't hate, when we're not in this constant battle to stay separate. It's going to be something. It's going to be quite interesting. It's going to be a change. It's going to be beautiful. It's always great sharing the morning with you, good sir, as it is to have this time with you too, dear friend. Thank you. It's so nice to have you here. She was certainly correct. Everyone can feel it. There we go. Thank you for resonating here and sharing short while with me today. Love and blessings to you. Thank you for that love, friend. Everything is connected and everything is random. It's also complicated, and you're smack dab in the middle of it. Zoop, swoop, twee giddy, tang swoop. Zoop, swoop, Diggity dang swoop. Thank you for tuning in. Turning notes. So, will so, please do. Beloved friend, I'm Natalie, visualizing a smoke circle where we pass without lighting. Hmm, I like that actually. Oof, just got hit with a dog fart. Yet, I do not take my well working senses for granted. You see that, Gab? Now that is awareness, where COVID can cause you to lose your smell. And then Gab gives us a little bit of a note of information that he was being exposed to such a foul smell. And yet, grateful to be exposed to that foul smell because it reminds him of the fact that he gets to smell anything at all. That translates as a good day to give my dog a bath. Can't smell wet dog if you can't smell. You see, Natalie, now that's the kind of attitude we need in this world. Senses working overtime. Natalie, oh my goodness, what a breathtaking visual, right? Mel making me visualizing monkeys moving and messing with the fractal, and they do. All of us do, right? Just outputting monkey energy. The monkey, right? Like we quite literally got meme wormed by the monkeys. Like Harambe straight up became like a giga meme. Harambe is probably one of the most powerful archetypal memes humanity has created. That's straight up monkey, dude. Influencing the infinity. actually influencing the infinity. The circle thing, not the dog's mouth. The lighting, the sitting in a smoke circle without smoking anything, actually. I'm glad you see the circle too. It's already here, beloved Natalie. We're just we're scattered within physicality and yet in a circle within mentality. I can't guarantee that my dog won't crop dust the divine circle of friend dust. Let him come. Monkey fractals. Right? It's cool, right? It's an interesting thing to think about that there's one monkey that just happens to be the monkey that randomly presses every single button that writes, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, for example. That there is a fractal of a monkey that is capable of that, right? Eats banana, continues writing Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Oh, it makes me happy. Thank you, Natalie, for tuning into it as well. But I can't guarantee that they will provide many kisses. Oh, many kisses them back, dude. Uh, so I mean, I'm jokingly thinking that, oh, by the time I'm done, the dogs are gonna be sick of me. But I know that that's not the truth. Like we're both gonna never be sick of one another, probably. I don't think my cats fart. I don't think our cats fart either. Monkey reptiles. I bet they switch it sneakily. Yo, absolutely. Sneaky, sneaky, ski bop, skibble, romp, kitty fart. Our Shelby is straight up, like trying to get fat. Like I've never seen a cat that dedicated to getting fat in my life. Chat, talks farts, Mel talks on poop shame. I have a want for coffee and breakfast, but I'm still in bed. Can I visualize that for myself? I do. So, see you waking up, see you walking to the kitchen. I don't know if you have a coffee machine, but I see you turning on the coffee machine. Coffee machines. I mean, like the whole fractal of right, and all of that's there too. But and then cooking yourself some nice breakfast, sitting down with your nice breakfast, feeling good that you actually cooked yourself something. I can visualize it. How about you, Joy V? Lurking, love to you too. It's nice to have you here. Tears, so much love to you. I'm attempting to hand you my coffee. Melt is too high right now. I'm like this high. I'm like this high, Joy V. I smoke like this much of a joint. It's not the weed. It's whatever magic we attach to it. Now it's like I'm scared of smoking the rest of it. I'm like thinking about lighting it again, and my brain is like, "Hey, you're still very much, very high." Your glasso lilac expression from a short while ago reminded me of Spongel Divine Moments of Truth. Dude, that stuff just comes from our brains, dude. I don't understand it, man. I don't even think it comes from my brain sometimes. I feel like it's like a frequency of infinity, and then the more I turn my brain off, the more I get turned on to whatever that is. The proper reaction. Dabble flu. He's saying my brain is getting so damaged right now. All the brain damage. Sweet, I'm sorry. Uh, Thank you. Funny use of resonating. I read it resonating because I'm in the resident we had like monkeys typing on the keyboard, bringing it back full circle, literally. Snack on some funny looking fungus and share it. Lose your fur and gain the ability to contemplate. Ah, evolution. Yeah, little did we know that eating psychedelic mushrooms every single time the rain falls, starting to, you know, hunt cattle, realizing that she isn't it. As we're tracking these cattle, these mushrooms are just growing out of their dung. And then we eat these mushrooms. And then we're like, and we're like, huh, the fuck? The first contemplation was the fuck. What the fuck? I wouldn't be surprised. Unironically, like really, having taken multiple friends for their first psychedelic experience, almost unanimously, the first reaction is, what the fuck? What's happening? Where am I? What's going on? And I'm like, yeah, you're melting. You keep breathing, you'll be fine. And then and as soon as they embrace it, they're fine. All of us will always be. I think I'm missing a few still here. I don't have much time left. We have like 20 minutes before the sangha starts. So much love to you. Let me see. Why is here too? Thank you for joining us, dear friend. I'm happy your friends are enjoying this. I always imagine myself screaming, "Why?" into the sky when I enthusiastically greet why. Why? 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 Just like pointing to, imagine your suffering, right? Like you can really imagine a suffering or a potential human suffering, the mining, the Pacific garbage patch, the burning of rainforests, the right, pointing like why, why? We're learning, Gob. That is the best answer I can give to why, dude. It's like we're a little bit stupid, just like a little bit, but we're getting clever, by outsourcing our thinking to things smarter than we. Right, in a double context, to the point where we're tuning into the divinity of the self instead of just focusing on the ego in and of itself, and then at the same time working alongside machines, artificial intelligences that we're doing. I think most of the computationally intensive thinking is being done by computers at this point already. And then the next transcendent step of that is going to be the merger of those two. The higher self merging with ultimate information, or maybe not even ultimate information, but ultimate memory. That the universe technically gets better at remembering the more complexified it becomes. You, as the universe, remembering. If your DNA, if it stops remembering how exactly you are, you would literally melt, like actually turn to goo on the ground. And yet, because it remembers this literal fractal, like something so inconceivably large that you could, I think, span around the earth twice, right? Something like that. If you could string your DNA out, it goes around the earth twice. Like, it is absolutely bonkers how much information just for you. And yet there's a perfect remembrance of that. There's even, I believe, like information in there from your previous generations, like your ancestors remembered things, needed to remember things. And that information is in you. Like, that's where that sometimes instinctive, intrinsic information comes from, I believe. So many smiles from today. It's feeling amazing, isn't it, jumping? Whew, I feel like I'm having some time anxiety though. I live a solitary life, so I truly appreciate the time that we spend together. Blessings and prosperity to all of you, separately and together. What a beautiful sentence that is. Thank you, Jumpin. It's so nice to have you here too. This was a fun birthday party. Thank you, everyone, for accidentally celebrating with me. Accidentally, we were intentionally celebrating with you. You told us that it was your birthday at the start of this stream, and this whole stream, as a result, has been informed by the fact. We love you, Brother Bay. Thank you for celebrating with us. It's all relative. Stupid doesn't exist. It's more me saying something that could trigger you to find balance within yourself, right? I don't actually believe a lot of the things that I say, right? If I'm talking about, some sort of crazy alien language, like I believe in it in a conceptual way, but I'm not going to make it a part of my reality in a way where I'm gonna stand with this, start convincing people that this is how it is. You should also believe that this is how it is, in fact, right? And if you don't, you're stupid. No, it's the balance. But I appreciate you calling me out on it. Doesn't exist. It's only a description of the box that we create to understand something larger than ourselves. Beautifully said. Genes is a lesson in the importance of redundancy. You could say redundancy, or you could say, hidden information. Hidden information, but you are right. Like we have a lot of redundant DNA. Like I think like six sets of redundant DNA, and you have something called methyl groups, where it demethylates or methylates your genes. So as your gene codes, you have this methyl group that clips onto the outside of your genome, and then where it clips on, it can turn off that gene expression. And we know, like this is fact. You could go and look it up. Please do. It's very fascinating. We know that human beings can consciously demethylate their DNA. We know that yoga helps people demethylate their DNA. We know that proper practices of exercise and sleep. I don't know if this is fact, at least not been proven. The other ones have been, but like talking to your water, I believe also helps demethylate your DNA. Redundancy, regrets, refinement, begets refinement. Mm, yes, I think so. Beautifully said. I like that as well. The more we, the more we have, the more we concentrate what we value. Refinement. Very cool. Thank you, Jumpin. I wish you all a beautiful day. To you too, Natalie. So much love to you. Thank you for joining me. I'm brewing coffee now. There we go. Can you make a feather in the foam? Can you make a feather in the foam? I have absolutely no idea what those words mean. Anything. Oh, okay. So Gob is actually a barista. The mans can actually make a feather in the foam. Anything for you, Joe Bobo Bizzle Bob. And technically, you would in turn be drinking some of Jovan's energy, right? Not being weird or anything, but Jovan being a bird person, wanting a feather on your coffee gob, and you happening to be an individual capable of doing something like that. Combining both Gob's skill and Jovan's vision to bring the coffee that God will enjoy today into fruition. A whole new experience, never had before by any human being in the entire existence of humanity. And yet, now you will. Wow! 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 Okay, I'm gonna have to pull a card. I have like 15 minutes to get it set up for my sangha. Probably some of your friends there as well. God the barista, saving the day one last time. Drink my energy. Gene switches on and off, and maybe somewhere in between, but full of those redundancies. Exactly, friend. Like we actually get to mess around because we have redundancy. You get to demethylate, remethylate, methylate your genes, seeing how it influences you, and then you get to potentially undo that as well, or redo it. Healing the heart. Healing the heart. We're talking about melting old patterns, old coping mechanisms. And healing the heart feels very apt to go attached to that message. The spirit of place and healing. The beautiful geometric configuration. Sorry. Missing Maxine. Sending you love, dear friend. Probably having some rest. Hot diggeth damn. Very beautiful card. And there's the DNA as well. Yeah, yeah. Sicketh. DNA and whales. The the sea. The sea's best memory, Like out of all of the animals in the ocean, they remember the most. They have the largest brains. They know songs that they only sing in certain times of the year. They travel throughout the entire ocean. They know how to travel through the entire ocean. Like memory, like just I'm feeling all of the fractals connecting. The beautiful geometric configuration depicted in this card is, according to visionary physicist Nassam Haramein, the hyperdimensional fractal geometry of spacetime. The matrix is a 3D Koch curve of vector equilibriums. It is the crystal at the core of the earth. This geometry is intended to enhance healing the heart on personal, planetary, and multi-dimensional levels. Various places all around our planet have the potential to bring you into alignment with healing energies. They may be revealed through cultural tradition, placements on the earth grid, or your own intuition. Sometimes these will be recognized places of power or sacred sites. Particular locations hold potent energy by virtue of their historical and cultural importance as ideal places to offer prayers and quicken intentions. Be advised to seek out places that summon you and honor the place and honor the spirit of place that resides there. One of the places that is summoning me is Haywire Hill. Be confident that you will be called to the locations that are in tune with your movement towards the wholeness and your mission in this lifetime. You may be surprised to find that the place where you live holds healing energy for you. As you relax and feel into the spirit of place you call home, tune into your surroundings and recognize how they help restore and replenish you. Hot diggity damn. Love is true. Thank you for joining me. Did you know? So much love to you. It's always a pleasure having you dear friends here. Card time. Love to you. Thank you for joining me. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Either in a few minutes or tomorrow. Goodbye, everyone. Cheers, cheers. Thank you, dear Shan. Thank you, all of your friends. So much love to you.